And we look at the next one we have is Pool 4, which had the game of the weekend, as far as I'm concerned, was Ulster v Racing.
Oh, what a game!
What a game!
Yeah,
quality game.
Yeah,
and like those are the two leaders in that group duking it out. Racing are still very comfortable. They got their 4 tries at the weekend and a losing bonus, so it's 2 points to the good.
Yeah.
In terms of just acquiring points, they were in a strong position as of last week. They were top. They were ahead of Saris in terms of points accrued. So the loss isn't even a terrible result, especially with being at home to Scarlets to come, you would think.
Yeah.
But there's danger there. We know that Scarlets are still dangerous.
Yeah.
And still firing shots. They put Leicester to bed, but Ulster produced a great performance, and like it was some key men. Stockdale looked amazing.
Yeah,
It's like
thoroughly.
the way the ball bounces for that lad. And the way, like, I loved some of the shirking of tackles for both of those tries, just shrugging off people, just ignore. Even the second one in particular, no, the first one in particular, there was a big man covering. I can't remember who, but he just ignored that tackle and smiled his whole way to the line.
Yeah.
And it's just, he has a great attitude. Even the ball that didn't bounce, Addison,
he was loving it. Yeah.
Addison had a great kick through that did bounce across the end zone, but like they were there to play and they went for it all day long.
Do you know who he reminds me of? And this is
Stockdale,
a little out there. Harry Kane. He reminds me of Harry from Tottenham in soccer and England. He's like, in the way that Ireland don't quite appreciate about wingers. When you hear football fans of our ilk talk about football and they're talking about strikers, like they're just guys to get goals. Yeah, and that's the baseline. That's what you're graded on if you're a striker in soccer. It's how many goals did you get. You know, that's the stat that comes up. You know, he's played such and such games, he scored such and such goals. That's what you're there for. You're our goal getter. And Stockdale is just a try getter. Yes. And he gets it sort of the same way as Kane. Harry Kane, if like he's not necessarily the most skilled player you'll ever see in terms of, there are other guys who are prettier. He's maybe not the most functional. He maybe doesn't link as well as some of the other guys. But what he does do is every time he gets a chance to shoot, he gets a chance to score, he takes it. And he takes it and he keeps trying and ends up scoring in almost every game.
Yes, and a brace in this one.
And that's Stockdale. Every time he gets the ball, he's trying to score a try. He's seeing how a try could happen from where I am now.
Yes, what's going on ahead of me? Okay, I'll chip it through. What's
exactly.
going on in front of me? Okay, I'll ignore that tackle and try. And
exactly. The man, like, even looking at it like a great goal scorer, you know, he's got one in the bag already. He just misses that second one, has that wry smile, and then pulls off the masterclass third one. And like
there, but for a bounce of a ball, it was a hat trick at home and a bonus point score. You know, that was how close. But
it's massive, and it's great that an Irishman is doing that right now, because it's showing us all the value of just a winger who scores tries. Which is almost like a striker.
Which is like, it's something there. Like there's something to international teams getting that philosophy wrong. We've been accusing Ireland of it for quite some time, like it's just in terms of too functional a winger, too much of a focus on defence, not trying to score enough tries, and therefore when you're behind in a game and being bullied, there's no one you can give it to who's just like, go score a try, get us back into it. And it's like, that's what you want your winger being. Like, I also think England sometimes suffer for that, for wanting to have a big kind of high ball expert / kind of athlete on the wing a lot of the time, but they don't look at form dictating a lot of time in their Premiership. Who's the guy who's grabbing tries?
To be fair to England, I always defend England because their wingers do score a lot of tries, and Johnny May is he's like a goal scorer.
He's comparable in fact. But what
Ireland have been missing, I know this is sort of off the topic for Ulster. But what Ireland have been missing for years, like back in the day, even under Joe, when they were winning Six Nations with Dave Carney on one wing and Andrew Trimble on another, those guys just weren't getting tries. And you were thinking, well, you know, maybe Ireland just don't play the kind of way to get tries. But in fact they did. They had those similar shapes that put guys into holes that they just never were finished. Because too much the focus was on, are you going to retain the ball? Are you going to do the things that Joe wants you to do? Or are you going to keep working hard? And the emphasis wasn't on, when I put you through the hole, are you the guy to finish it? And that's what you're seeing with Stockdale. I mean, in that try against New Zealand, it was a classic Joe power play in the middle of the park, in the sense that it created a bit of space. And what Stockdale did is what Irish wingers never do, is he turned it into a try. He turned like a bit of space in the middle of the field into 7 points. Thank you very much. And the game as it happened. So it was again in that Ulster game. He just makes things happen. He was the
difference maker between those two teams, because Racing, like, weren't there not to play, like, as you have put down very well there, like, Finn Russell's boot thoroughly betrayed him. It was not there for him at all, and he struck everyone as he kind of wanted to, but it was just wrong. So he missed near all. He only got the last conversion. There were 3
No,
unconverted.
the last conversion was Teddy Ibrahim.
Oh, sorry, that's right. Actually, no. So he missed all of his conversions, and they finally converted the last one. It was not good.
I like his attitude though, Finn.
Oh, he's play by play, which is what you want.
Like, he still threw that bullet of a pass off his left hand for the final try.
Yes,
pass. It was a gorgeous pass.
He has a great passing game. No doubting that. But his kicking game is often technical as well, and it just wasn't.
No.
Sure, it was very windy, and he just probably didn't get a read on what was going on in Ravenhill at all. Or the Kingspan, whatever. But they look dangerous at times. They bullied, like the first try they got, the Vakatawa try, where he just sauntered through the defensive line and got back into the game. Ulster have a terrible habit. What we saw is probably a good illustration of the difference between them and Munster and Leinster in their respective games, where Munster and Leinster both had a job to do and blew the team away and controlled them entirely. Ulster also had a job to do. They put themselves in the position to kick on and win the game. Like initially in the first half, they were blitzkrieging them. They built up that cushion to 0. Weren't able to prevent them from scoring another try immediately and getting straight back into it, and just changing the whole dynamic of the game from being one where you're like keeping the team at a healthy arm's length throughout and then sticking to your processes. They let them back in again and again, and even when Stockdale got that try at such a timely manner to put them, give a bit of distance, you know, they were straight on the defensive, and I just never got the feeling, even though that's 3 tries and they could do with an extra point, I never got the feeling that they were going to get that bonus point in that fixture. And listen,
there's a lot of the problems linger, as you say, but they're very much outside that's improving. And like when we talked about them this time last year, I mean, the degree to which they had problems, it would take, you know, an even longer podcast than we usually shoot, to break down all of the problems that existed in Ulster, and many of them have been solved. So firstly, just smart acquisitions. It's great to see Marcel Coetzee back fit.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
Jordy Murphy's been massive as well.
Has been huge for them.
Anne-Marie Best is like a renewed man. He's putting everything into Ulster.
Yeah, we asked him last week. We asked for a few more steals. He duly obliged. He was slowing a ball as well.
The defensive breakdown for them was massive.
Yeah.
And attitude-wise, like I actually just really like. I mean, it's probably too early to tell long-term what Dan McFarland is going to be for them.
Yeah.
But I just love the way he talks.
Vastly improved, and a vast improvement on what we were seeing under Les Kiss and those years.
Yeah. Guys who we've been so critical of, like Treadwell, just seemingly standing 2 feet taller.
His performance was excellent, and that's symptomatic of exactly what you're saying. Where like they were missing Ian Henderson. How were they going to tackle Racing without that man? And the answer was some of their younger lads stepping up, recognising that game and following the example of people like Rory Best and like Addison. Has to be said, he really plays his heart out for it. Ever since he's touched down on these shores, he has given nothing shy of 100% in every game, and is a bit of a playmaker and a baller. The only question with him is who's leading that defence in that centre partnership.
They still have issues, and you can see
they leaked 4 tries at home, and that's like no matter who the opposition is. That's not a good thing.
The question isn't in fact who's leading the defence. If you watch it, like the answer to that is Addison. But the bigger question is why is he leading the defence?
It's not his game.
Joe, I don't think would ever have him do it. Joe wants him in, but he's not. He's making bad reads like a young lad. Like he's not a leader of a defensive line. He shouldn't be the guy who everyone's leaning on to make those channels. He rushes out.
Who it really should be is McCluskey.
Exactly.
You would think, because he's a big man and needs to be getting out, and it's still a problem with his game. It's still something that annoys me a lot. He does a lot of soak tackles and stuff, and he targets the ball, which I know Joe wants, but like in the context of Ulster, they'd be much better getting, because like Ireland implement a shoot system as well, so Addison would be much more comfortable shooting behind or next to an aggressive Stuart McCluskey, who's a big man who's going to get in the eye line, get in the passing lane, and then if there's a floated pass, sure, maybe Addison would pick off a few intercepts in that hypothetical scenario. But it's like he's so big that rush,
and his game hasn't really developed since his debut season. Like he's still the same McCluskey he was then, full of bags of potential, but he has a few
great offloads in him, a few squandered offloads in him as well. But the most disappointing factor is that defence, and they again, because like with a lad like Billy Burns in there, like he's a fine player and he's doing all he can, but he's not a physical presence in the defensive line at all.
Where McCluskey, just by shape, is, so he should throw his body around a bit more for sure. And that's an area that they have to work on.
But when you see the influence that Henshaw has on any team that he's included in, be that Connacht, be that Leinster, or be that Ireland, just the marauding, mauling tackles coming from the centre line from 12 or 13, he gets out of the line and he closes distance like few others in terms of just at one point he's 5 seconds away, but now he's wrapped the ball in a second, and it's just great to see. And he drives lads back, and it would be lovely to see a presence like that in Ulster. That's why, like a couple of seasons ago, we were getting excited by the balance of McCluskey and Tommy Bowe before Tommy Bowe's run. It was good in the early season as well. They leaned on it, and then Tommy got injured again, and that was ultimately the end of Tommy's career, which was a shame. But I liked the way that was shaping up. Addison definitely has potential in that 13 shirt. The way he carries the ball reminds me of Ringrose in terms of his way of creating space for others and putting people into the channels ball in hand. I like how often he gets his ball in the hand from 13 rather than 15 as well, and just the areas that he does. But you need McCluskey stepping up in that defensive role, and it doesn't seem to be happening yet. No. But we shouldn't be overly focused on the negative, because like this was a great win for them, and it was against a tough team who hammered them the last time they played them.
Totally. Like there's a load of holes in Ulster still, but there were at the start of the season, and there are now less. There are now fewer holes rather than were there at the start of the season. For sure.
And even the last, like just before Christmas when they were playing that game in the U Arena, they've cleaned house a lot.
They're plugging away and chipping into the holes and just getting. What I love most about what's most refreshing is just how much more Dan McFarland is getting from the young Ulster Academy lads than any coach has.
Like some Michael Lowry coming in
years, and it's massive, and that with the talismanic back row lads of Murphy and Marcel Coetzee with Big Ian Henderson to come back. You know, there is a flavour of something could happen here. It's probably not there yet, but there's certainly way more than expectations, way surpassing expectations.
I was
first season. He's only a few months in the job.
And they're already in contention. They're in their pool deciding scenario, and compared to the seasons gone by, where Christmas has been a pretty grim time for Ulster fans all around. But like this year, they're excited by a new team. Their acquisitions have performed, have bolstered things. And it looks a bit more dynamic. It also looks like Ulster Rugby, like they can score tries against you. Totally. They easily do, and they're quick to move the ball, and they're trying to be physical, and they're trying to get their set piece going. Sometimes they fall short. Like defensively, it wasn't the best display.
It wasn't,
but
their set piece held up.
Their set piece held up.
On the other side,
exactly. Yeah, so I'm excited.
And their breakdown play is massively improved.
Much improved. That has been the main source of improvement. Like it's being very
because while their defense isn't good, their defensive breakdown is massive, and that's how they stop teams.
It is.
So it's big for them.
It's true. Yeah.
But Racing, on the other hand, sorry.
I was going to pivot as well.
There you go.
So Racing, to move on from Ulster, but fair play Ulster, because I really enjoyed the game, and it was class. Oh, also a shout out, Bamakoon is his name. Balakoon.
Yeah.
First try, first for a few minutes, first game, first try. I love seeing it's always a good sign in a team when you're a debutant, especially a debutant winger, is getting on the board and nice and early for him. And it was just it was a lovely team try.
It was a lovely team try. Louis Ludic, shout out to him as well for being
perfect, like textbook way of taking the outside from the inside thing, drawing two men, giving the pass. Beautiful rugby.
And won him off in outer space.
He looks better when he's running in tries rather than just ignoring the outside man.
Indeed. But good young prospect. Remains to be seen what he becomes.
Racing, on the other hand,
for them, it's like it's bittersweet. You know, they're fine. They're no longer top seed, but as you say, it's all okay. I'm just curious looking at them. I mean, I think they are a curiosity. I'm wondering what's going to become of them. They don't actually have. I mean, Donnacha Ryan was missing, which can't be understated. Bernard LaRue was in Donnacha Ryan's jersey. That's a difference.
That is a difference.
But they don't actually seem to have the same kind of marauding pack that you would associate with the big money French teams. True. They were pretty matched blow for blow. Pretty just got the better of that Ulster pack. But it was close.
It was blow for blow. They make ding dong games.
They do. They go into the wide channels. They're big men in their pack. Nakarawa and Claessens. They go wide, and they go wide early. Even Larry is wider than he should be. It seems in a year they've become the Finn and Zebo team. In a lot of ways, and obviously Vakatawa 13 as well.
He's
so
throwing low
huge for them.
Just he's letting his hands go.
In fact, it's like it's become so crazy and flim flam and whatever you'd want to call it that even like a real functional, smart, classy operator like Chavancy is actually getting frozen out of games almost because they're not about him.
Yeah,
they're about Finn. True. They're about what's happening inside.
He's running short dummy lines, while Finn's flicking it 40 yards over his head.
Yeah.
No, he's going straight out to Imhoff. Finn sees a pass. It's gonna go. But like you highlighted it, they look very barbarians at times. They do. It's just like it's throwing the ball around. It's going to deck sometimes. Someone's jumping on it. Someone's kicking it sometimes. And it's like they score a load of tries, but they also leak a few.
And the similarity with the Bowas goes beyond that as well. It's in the mentality of the players. Like they're very play for play. They're very next play. The heads never drop. Unlike
which
a lot
means
of French
that even
teams.
when things go wrong, you still see smiles, which is good. That's encouraging.
And you still see tries. They throw the ball around. They keep trying to make things happen. It's all play by play. But then at the end of the day, as you say, the tip over for that is the final whistle blows,
and it's still all smiles.
Still all smiles.
And that's the problem.
They don't see
like I don't mind it in game if you leak something and you can go like and smile and next play mentality. That's probably good. But where that lets you down is in final thirds of game, final quarters of games. But also if it's happening after the final whistle, like defeat shouldn't be tasting that good.
No,
but it does because they're all on big money, and they're throwing the ball to each other and scoring a load of tries. And that leads me to question: are they going to win this tournament?
Well, that's the big thing. I think the big question mark that still lingers over Racing is whether, because Machino's back, whether there's almost.
If he and Shaughnessy are there, then maybe the focus can shift a bit.
all inside Finn who's doing mad things, and like that's the thing is that is there going to be almost like a power balance of Machino's very good game management skills and Finn's, and I think there actually might be because 9 in France is such a big position. Teams even the most loosey goosey teams play off 9 a lot over there, and he's going to get a chance now to impose himself on the team going forward. Obviously he's going to get dragged away into the French squad for the Six Nations, but going back into that team he's going to get a chance to impose himself and maybe calm things down a bit. And
the potential for it is the same potential we see in Munster with the Murray being the general and Carberry being more functional than Keatley in the role as kind of the 10 who's directing that pack, but mainly it's Murray. And like you want to see that in Racing really for Cup Rugby for these stages to come. You want Machino coming into the game. You want those forwards getting a little tighter than they are, wider, and winning some of those collisions. And you want just good game management all around. And days like that where Finn's boot goes a wandering, you don't have to lean on him.
It was very strange that Machino didn't step in and take the kicks. It was only when he went off and Iberin came on that the kicks started to be taken, because Machino takes kicks. Does it all the time.
Does it for France.
I know he's only back. Maybe it was a leg injury.
Maybe it was something like that. Maybe they just wanted this is a question of emphasis again. Maybe it's just it is the Finn show and Finn's going to take the kicks until he misses all of them, and then we're going to have someone else do it.
Yeah, but it was only after Iberin came on. That was what was weird to me. It was Machino on the pitch, Machino on the pitch, Machino on the pitch. All Finn takes kicks, Machino leaves the pitch, then Finn doesn't. Almost as if Machino can kick, which we know he can.
No, there was a curiosity, all right. I don't know what it is, but like I've seen it happen with Leinster before. Like Johnny Sexton has had days where the boot just doesn't work. It's happened for Ireland as well. But like you do get telltale signs of it. Like there were a few touch finders that weren't right either. It's just the strike is wrong. That maybe either the drop or the strike or one part in between. But like they're just not getting it right.
He said in post match that he changed his boots this morning.
Yes, he did. Which is,
like it's just an anomaly.
Could be something like that weighing on the mind, or just even the strike. But it wasn't there. But it was apparent even before they got the tries that needed converting that he then missed. Like he wasn't kicking well around the field, and as such they were struggling to dominate the game because they were having to come back.
I'll tell you, it'll be curious viewing this week when Scarlets come to Paris, because Scarlets maybe after, I know beating a depleted Leicester isn't exactly the greatest achievement a team has ever.
Well, it's hard to register what that means at all.
Indeed,
you're like in Parky Scarlets against a depleted Leicester, they were always going to run in a couple of tries. It was more one-sided than it ought to have been, but whatever.
Exactly. But they do have heads-up players. They have Johnny McNichols. I think they have Patchell back in town doing things. Is this?
I think they do they?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, they can't all be injured. It's Patchell and Scott Williams and Hadley Parks and all the boys in the road show. Johnny McNichol, I think.
Johnny McNichol's a great player, and he is one for grabbing a try when it's going.
But that's the thing about Racing, is that Racing leak tries. So it'll be perhaps one of the less maybe consequential ones, because ultimately you have to think Racing will win, but it could be a good watch over there.
Yeah, I think it'll be an exciting game. I always think that when Scarlets take the field against anyone, but now
especially in an enclosed arena.
Yeah, well, that's another factor as far as like the boots concerned. There's definitely no kingspan or wind whipping around from left to right. It's going to be under the roof, and it's going to be technical passes.
I wonder if that could be a factor in the whole Finn boot thing. Just because
it's a thought.
He's been playing all year in
a pristine
exactly.
environment,
and then when he does go away from home, everything's windy.
Well, there was one kick that he did seem to strike perfectly in the right direction as far as he was concerned, but it was just always right, by quite a distance, and only got more so. And you're just like, he's not reading that. He's like not reading the wind, I suppose, because
it goes over in the U Arena, maybe
it does. Yeah. Well, like I don't know.
It's no bloody use when you put on a Scotland jersey. They don't play under a roof.
No, it's not. It's another thing that will be probably more will be revealed in the Six Nations as far as that.
I would say so.
I'm still reticent to call it anything other than just an odd day where his boot just didn't quite work.
Yeah.
But as far as looking forward to the U Arena, then there is danger. Scarlets obviously have been we've already spoken about it, just how much of a diminished force they feel compared to the absolute the class team they've had for the last few years, with Tygburn missing and very noticeably absent,
John Barkley
gone, and
James Davis.
That's right.
Yes, and it was their whole game. Defensive breakdown.
Yeah,
and it was it all.
Yeah,
and now Uzair Kasim, who was a disappointment, is gone, and Ken Owens is in his jersey.
Ken Owens at number 8.
Got a bag to try. That's good.
Bag to try was great, and thumped the ball in
did.
Absolute great fashion.
I am a number 8. You fools, mock me.
I don't know how that plays into Warren's plans with Wales.
Doesn't at all.
Yeah,
I dare say.
Yeah, but he's having to perform what we were talking about Ulster in performances gone by, what Rory Best looks like he has to do for that team. If he's playing badly, then the whole team's losing. But Ken Owens is kind of a similar entity in that Scarlets setup. He's a great man. He's a really, really great rugby man. I really do respect him as a player. And that performance from number 8 was just a great little. It reminded me of just like he's a great rugby brain, and that's what happens even when you put them out of position. They make plays and find space. It kind of. I was thinking it would look like something like that if you put Keith Wood in a number 8 jersey. At some point he'd find a try. Yeah, I mean, it's like 100%.
Keith Wood is Keith Wood.
Yeah, well that's true. But it's just like he really impressed me. But it's also looking at there are huge gaps. As much as they're still a great team and a great club, and Scarlets have no issue as far as identity, and they have no issue as far as how they want to play the game, and they have no issue facing Racing with that in mind, because Racing are a team similar to them who want the same kind of tempo based game, so they don't have to dictate that, but they do have to execute it, and they're missing a few key men to do that, who have been big workhorses for them in seasons gone by.
You're probably right,
and they just don't have the replacement.
It's probably more likely that Leicester could do the job on Ulster, just because Ulster have this tradition of blowing things, and they thoroughly can blow this.
Yeah, well, like Welford Road is still a factor that's going to be explored, and it may weigh too heavily on the minds of the Ulster men in preparation for it, because like looking at all things Leicester have been doing, and
well, listen, outside of, I'm sorry to jump on you, but outside of that point, like outside rather of last week's anomalous, weak Leicester side, they have actually been in good form. The week before last, they stuffed Gloucester, properly stuffed them. They have on paper a decent team. It's George Ford and Ben Youngs and Manu Tuilagi. If those boys get the shout from Jordan Murphy in a sort of this is our patch, you don't come here and win,
which will probably be the message.
I'm sure it will,
considering they named the depleted team for the trip to Wales, which is understandable. They're out of the comp,
and then they got embarrassed.
They did get embarrassed.
They can't get embarrassed back to back. It would be bad for them.
And damaging for all momentum. With Six Nations coming, they're going to lose to they're going to want something to cling to in the dressing room to try and keep getting performances in the Premiership, which is their priority as it stands, because they're fighting a battle that they need to get out of. They need to get out of the Malays and into the top half at least for the season. Really, if it's going to be a success.
They're still be hoping for European qualification and beyond, because it's so bunched in there. But Jordan Murphy, I think there's a good chance now, because they're so used to playing week by week anyway, that he picks his strongest side. And Ulster
there's also a very, very good chance, because we've seen it enough. Sorry to cut across you but Manu Tuilagi, in that point we were talking about Ulster's centres and their passive line.
That's a bad matchup.
Terrible matchup, because he is normally one for, even in the Leicester performances that have been shoddy and they've been blitzkrieg by teams, there's still usually a man or two laggy try in there.
Also, and blitz is the word, because one of the things that their halfbacks don't handle well is a blitz defence.
Yeah.
They don't get it out quick enough, and Ulster don't do a blitz defence.
No.
They do a drift defence, and like it just stylistically, it's an awkward.
It's
one
an
for
awkward
them.
one.
It's a very awkward
It's an
one.
eminently losable fixture.
Yeah.
And like this is where things like form and caliber, and like we did make the point last year that, or last week that you were making the point that in away fixtures or something, when you're looking at two teams, how they match up, you try and ignore the inhuman factors, things like where it's being played, things like what the noise is going to be like.
Whenever I make a prediction, that's what I try and do.
Yes,
figure out who's the better team.
but in Europe, in games like this, and certainly like in a matchup in Ulster and Leicester, who, if you're thinking historically in the broad context of this tournament, historically Leicester are the more successful club, and this is at their home patch, and Ulster will be aware of that. Like Leicester have 2 stars. They've been there before. Not this team, and this team are a shadow of that, if even, because they're completely different. But it's still Welford Road, and Ulster aren't going to have the the chorus that greeted them on Saturday was fantastic and really allows them to play their game.
Yeah.
They can go off it and check the U Arena for historical precedent that isn't that old. Like this was last year. They went over against a team who you think stylistically, at least, they do leak a few tries. Maybe Ulster can do it, and for the first half a little bit sort of, but then they broke when it did get. Then when the adversity came, they just buckled, and it's all of what they're doing without the ball in hand defensively leads to them leaking tries, especially if they're a little bit off the pace.
So it has to be massive. It has to be about collision winning. It has to be obviously defensive breakdown is so key.
Massive.
It has to be about Rory Best and Marcel Coetzee and Jordy Murphy. They don't have the luxury that Leinster and the boys have. They can't, chop and change and shove in a few new boys. They just don't have that luxury. So it has to be the same boys who stood up last week stepping up again, and it could be a potential banana skin for them.
It is 100% that, and I'm reticent to call it even because I just don't know. I'm flipping between it day by day as to how it can go. I do believe they can do it, and I do believe Ulster are the better team, and the team on the up. They should do it. If you're doing it by your metric, where it's like, will the better team win? I think if they both play their 100% game, I think Ulster win.
I agree.
In a neutral venue, I think Ulster win. I'm questioning the Welford Road factor in this one. I'm bringing it into that metric.
Who's the bigger factor? X factor man? Is it going to be Tuilagi bagging his stock try or Stockdale
bagging his? Yeah. Will they both cancel each other out? And then who's going to kick better? I don't know. Will it be George Ford or Billy Burns? These are little battles that are going on.
Totally.
It's all interesting. It's a great fixture. Thank you very much for watching. If you're new here, please hit like and subscribe down below if you want to see more videos and all that kind of lovely stuff. But also please leave some comments down below because we enjoy the chat.